Thank you.
Okay, now Emil, I want you to read some of Sula's work. So Sula, which one do you want to read first?
You know what? Do you want to go with Grandma Ate My Duck? Because we did a little bit of Zora last week, even though Zora's like maybe a little bit better broken down into poem. But I think Grandma Ate My Duck because it's got a little more character than Zora. I don't know. I could be good with both.
I am.
Is that a little too much?
No, I'm going to put it in a document so it's bigger.
Okay.
Okay.
My father doesn't eat chicken because he came home one day and his pet chicken George was for dinner. And my aunt didn't tell him until after dinner. He was devastated. So he doesn't eat chicken. And he was like 7.
It's a common story. It's
and
a common story.
You know it's common. Well, it's common if you grow up with old world people who don't have a lot of money, who are like, chickens is made for eating, not petting. You just pet them to make them happy.
You have money and just remember the olden days when they didn't, and they were like, "Yo, we're gonna eat that. It's moving. We're eating it."
Yeah, I've definitely.
I'm not vegetarian either. I mean, so I have a lot of nerve, but it was anyway.
You're so special. All right, I'm gonna try and make this bigger.
I'm sorry, I have a little bit of a cold now too, so I'm not crying.
Are you sure? Let's zoom in. Oh. How's that? Can you read that?
I don't see it. I just see all of you.
Oh, I need to.
You have to split the screen.
Screen with you. How about I do that? Okay, because I moved to an app, so now I need to move to another screen. Great. Okay.
There. I can read it.
Great. So let's begin.
All right. Ready?
Yep.
Grandma ate my duck. One year, when I was 8 or 9 years old, my father announced me and him were going to Greece because his father had a stroke. My father is from Sparta, Greece. Yes, the famous Sparta with the 300. When most people think Sparta, they think warriors, ancient Greek history, and mythology. They think, so this day, people are sitting around sharpening their swords, ready to fight the noble fight, talking philosophy. They are not. They're ready to fight, all right, just not for the noble fight. And they're ready for swords, for sharp tongues and mighty gossip. I'm not saying Sparta is a bad place. It's just different. I was in for some major culture shock. Here I am coming from the heart of NYC to Sparta, Greece, population 10,000. I think there were at least 10,000 on my block alone in Manhattan. My first culture shock was the food. I grew up on like McDonald's and diner food. My mom rarely cooked. She was Irish and her food was bland. Her idea of seasoning was salt and pepper, although she'd go crazy on a pork chop with some adobo. So here I am in the middle of Sparta. I just came from a box of Lucky Charms. And now there's a goat head in my soup. That goat head was scary. It still had eyes and teeth. The charred muscles shrunken around the skull. The only thing missing was its skin. The only thing missing was its skin. Wait a minute.
Here is
Here is without a doubt a dead goat's head. I was traumatized. I come from a Manhattan neighborhood where 95% of the kids have never seen a live chicken or a farm animal. We've seen a lot of roaches, rats, pigeons. Well, we were never trying to eat them. Well, there was this one family on 17th Street over by the Fulton Projects. They were rumored to have eaten a pigeon or two, but for the most part, we did not. We grew up on Disney where the animals talk to you. Helped you find a dress and a prince. You didn't eat them. When your mom cooked for you, you never knew the food had a face or a mama of its own. It just came from the supermarket. So I find myself in this strange new country with these strange new people with the strange customs. One thing they had in common with my New York family was they didn't like children either. It was like that. My grandmother didn't like me right off the bat. One thing she despised more than children were Americans. Great. I happen to be both. She just stared at me with this twisted look of disgust, like I was covered in shit. First thing she did was give me a tour of the house and point out all the things I was not to touch. That was everything. That was everything. The house was pretty much all made out of marble. My grandmother and grandfather had migrated to New Jersey years before and had run a very successful restaurant business where they made lots of money and returned to Greece to retire. One room that I like to call the Elvis Presley room was all red velvet furniture and doilies. I hate doilies. On the couch were two dolls propped up. They had to be from the early 1900s, and they were dressed as little housewives with these little peasant outfits with aprons. They were like something out of a horror movie. They had zero snuggle factor. Jaja, grandmother in Greek, said in her best English, "You not touch them." I was like, "Don't even worry about it, old goat lady. Two Annabelle scary looking motherfuckers will get no playtime from me." Then she took me to the bedroom. It was all marble with a bidet. It was bigger than most NYC studio apartments. She guides me over to the toilet paper mimes, and in her best English, which wasn't very good at all, says, "You one squire," and cuts one squire. A squire, one squire from the roll, and shows it one square, and from the roll and shows it to me. I thought I kind of understood, but I called my dad in for clarification. What are you saying? She said you're only to use one square. You're using the toilet or anything else. She'll replace it with newspaper. Oh, what the fuck. Next stop, her storage room. Stacks, I tell you, of toilet paper to the ceiling amongst plenty of other household items in the same count. The only other place to date that I've seen something like this is at Costco's or Sam's Club. This is like someone waiting for Armageddon. These people were not poor by any means, but they remembered when they were and lived like that. Yajo was like a pack rat squirrel. She wouldn't give you anything unless you were my dad, and he wouldn't give you anything because he was cheap. Grandma liked to live like she was reliving the war. Over and over. I was also informed that I was not to flush my one little square piece of toilet paper because they had a septic tank, and my little square piece of toilet paper would jam it up, and the world would come to an end. And I was told to only flush the toilet when I pooped, then and only then. This practice would later get me into trouble and screamed at a lot back in NYC at my mom's house. Flush the fucking toilet. It would drive my mother nuts. Even though the house had 4 bedrooms, I was given the kitchen to sleep in a cot till Grandpa died. That only took a year. Then I got the room and bed. The bed he died in. No change of mattress or sheets. Either she just washed them. Kind of like the Gorilla story. My friends would say, "Aren't you afraid of your grandpa's ghost?" No. I knew for a fact if he was coming back to do any haunting, it definitely wouldn't be me he'd be after. Well, I thought to myself, fuck these people and the goat they rode it on. That was the first time I thought of running away. There would be more in the future. I was then introduced to my grandfather. That was bedridden after having the stroke that paralyzed him. He could talk and use his right arm, and that was about it. I felt sorry for Papu, grandfather in Greek. Jaja was mean to him. Boy, she hated him. It took every opportunity to show him. He'd scream all the time when his catheter was full of urine for her to come empty it. She'd act like she couldn't hear him from 5 feet away. So he'd get mad and pour it on the floor. She'd then go in, rip his sheets off, and beat the shit out of him. After a while, I started emptying it for him because I just couldn't bear it anymore. And that got me on catheter emptying patrol.
Oh my God!
It walking into the middle of someone else's nasty family fight that had nothing to do with you.
Oh my God.
Didn't know anyone except that one person that brought you there, and they just keep smiling at you, acting like nothing's wrong. It's like you think you're going to go to some family barbecue where everything's going to be all nicey nice. You're going to have fun, get some free food, play with a kid or two, and here's what you get. The food was a goat head. Everyone's fighting. No kids to play with. No fun to be had. I wasn't allowed to have many things. Toys were not in abundance. Like all kids, I took to animals, and they were everywhere. So that was kind of fun. Goats and sheep lazily crossing streets, stopping traffic, cats, dogs, chickens, donkeys, pigs, ducks. Giorgio wanted me to be this little Stepford wife in training. I was a tomboy, and I saw myself as an artist, an animal lover. She hated animals too. She ate my duck. She ate my fucking duck. This woman ate my pet duck and tried to sandwich to me. Believe me, I get it. People kill animals in order to eat them. We have everything so prepackaged in America. I get it. I understand the difference between farm life and city life. I was a kid, though, and that was my pet duck. We lived inside the town of Sparta. We were not starving. She didn't have to eat my duck. I remember how I made my dad catch that duck on the beach. Boy, he ran after it all over the place in a Speedo. Ducks are surprisingly fast, and they can dodge like a motherfucker, too. I wanted that duck. I turned all Veruca Salt, Willy Wonka on my father. Hey, buddy, I want that duck. I want it now. You better believe he caught that duck. And there's my dog. Shut up, dog. Robin, come here, Robin. Come here, Robin. Robin Pearl, come here. Okay.
That's me. I was laughing. I'm sorry.
Okay. You better believe he caught that. My dad did an excellent duck impression that used to make me laugh so much till his mom ate my duck. And to think of it, he stole that duck. Ducks don't just run wild on the beaches populating the place. That was someone's duck, and we took it. So Grandma ate my stolen duck. I took it real personal. That was my pet. My friend, we had a huge 2-story garden. We had lemon trees, orange trees, pomegranate trees, big trees, and grapes. We were not starving. We had a chicken coop with 15 chickens. Why didn't she eat one of those? I wasn't as sympathetic to the chickens as I was to my duck. I used to feed her stupid chickens every day. Giorgio was strict that all the table scraps went to the chickens each day. In my mind, I was like, I hope your chickens like octopus spaghetti. Of course, we only feed them things chickens eat. Oh, that octopus spaghetti was the worst. First off, it smelled nasty. And then they have these little suction cup feet, tentacles, I know, that I would imagine suctioning to the inside of my mouth, then my throat on the way down. Yeah. The spaghetti would be boiled to death, and it'd be laying there in this creepy, slimy tomato sauce. That shit was gross, even though I'd grown to like octopus, just not the way Giorgio made it. This is how I found out about my duck had been abducted. Abducted. I came home from playing with some friends in the park, la 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 la, and did what I always did, go say hi to my duck over in the chicken pen. White feathers everywhere. Donald, where are you? Here, ducky, ducky, ducky. Oh, he's nowhere to be found. I'm having a panic attack. Where's my duck? I'm no detective, but there's an obvious struggle that happened in that chicken coop. Down feathers everywhere, all over the ground, and the fence, hanging on the trees, on some of the chickens. I run in to tell my grandmother that my duck is missing. She's in the kitchen by the stove with a big pot on the burner. Sticking out of the pot are 2 feet. Duck feet. Ah! I can't believe my eyes. I scream. I can't find my duck. Have you seen my duck? Nope, haven't seen him. Cool as an ice cube. What's in that pot? Chicken. You might think I'm stupid, some American kid, but I know duck feet when I see them. Those are not duck feet. Nope, chicken feet. Duck feet. Get out of my kitchen. You don't know what you're talking about. I ran out of the house, back to the park, and sat by myself. All of my friends had gone home for siesta, which Greeks take very seriously. You were to make absolutely no noise or be out in the streets at this time. If you were out during siesta time, you're automatically labeled a hoodlum. This is how siesta works. Every day, Wednesday and Saturday, stores and businesses will open around 9 a.m. and close at 2 p.m. for the day. Every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, they would open at 9 a.m. and close at 1:30 p.m., then reopen at 6 p.m. Sundays closed. If you didn't get the things you needed between those hours, you weren't getting them till the next day. Between the hours of 1:30 p.m. and 6 p.m. every day were considered siesta time. No one was on the streets except for the hoodlums. Now, what hoodlums are supposed to be doing out between these hours beats me, because it's fucking hot. You would think hoodlum time would be more around midnight. My family actually told me that anyone out between those hours were hoodlums up to no good. And if anyone saw you out, if anyone saw you out, they'd look down on you, and it would be scandalous to the family name. I thought that was one of the most bizarre things I ever heard of. I come from NYC, the city that never sleeps. I can even imagine siesta in Manhattan. Imagine all the Starbucks shut down between 1:30 and 6:30 p.m. People would lose their motherfucking minds. Here's the truth. Between those hours in Sparta, I'd say for much of Greece, it gets hot out. And I mean nuclear hot. I still don't see where the hoodlum thing comes in. But when you're a kid, you can deal with the heat, no problem. I faced the Sahara Desert at noon to be away from my family. I wanted to be out all the time, and just to be away from them. I didn't care with whom or where, just not with them. Now that I'm a little older and free of them, I love to be home so much. It could be easily mistaken for agoraphobia. If I didn't have to leave my house for any reason, I'd be okay with that. I'll give it to Grandma. She stuck with her lie. That wasn't my duck, but I know better. So not only did these fuckers eat my duck, Grandma's a little murderous liar, and now I'm a fucking hoodlum. Wonderful.
Okay, that was long.
What did you learn?
It was fun to read. Thank you.
Thank you for reading it so well.
Well,
Where does the action begin and where does it end?
So I'm going to say the action begins with Grandma in the kitchen, duck feet sticking out of the pot.
Where is that?
I think it's very in the middle. The action could start there, or it could start from the father chasing and catching the duck. But I think I see it more starting from Grandma in the kitchen on top of a pot with duck feet sticking out, and like that's the action.
I actually like the very top of the story to introduce us to this world and the comparisons between New York and Greece. I think are hilarious and active. I think within this beginning, though, you need to make some cuts so that the only things that we hear are what we need to know about Greece and what we need to know about the people, right? So, Goat Head is hilarious. That's an actual story.
Yeah.
It sets the stage for Duck. Like the whole thing. It's just that you have some explaining about backtracking about people that we don't need. Like we don't need to know, dad did this or dad did that. Stay on track with the story. And only give us details about people as it's related to the story. Like the toilet tissue is really funny and useful because it gives us a picture of Grandma being a penny pincher. So it totally makes sense that you kill the duck. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there are internal cuts in here to tighten it that you can make. Siesta is pretty funny, but it goes on too long. What do we need to know about the siesta to make the story work?
Probably 3 lines out of all of that, honestly.
We
Probably
just
get
need
3
to know if you're out during
And that
siesta,
is a
you're
lot.
with them. That's it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's an obvious struggle that happened in that chicken coop. It's fucking hilarious. Okay. So yeah, I would make internal cuts.
Can I ask you this? So say on a 60-minute solo show, and say that if you're breaking it breaking it down, because this is the way I see mine going, is whether it being, say about maybe 6 or 8 different stories that somehow edit between each other, or am I jumping way too ahead of myself? Because my question is, how long should, say this is one contained story, not more than 3 minutes, correct? Because I think that reads about like 10 minutes. So each story, if you're doing it that way, should read maybe about 3 minutes. Is that, or am I just talking way too ahead? Okay, so you're out. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, are they just the length that they are?
Just right. Don't worry about structure. This is the first time you've written all these things in an organized place. They're all in your head. You need to get the content down and allow the story that shows up in the content to determine what goes first, what goes second, what goes last. That's it. Period. You guys are good at wrapping up stuff. Brittany, I don't want to make you self-conscious, but the last 2 lines, the last line of your monologue, but I don't have any memory of them. It's very telling.
Okay.
Now, Brittany, you're going to read Emil's.
Okay.
So let's go back. Do you have questions that don't have to do with figuring out what you're going to write and when? How?
So,
No, I think I'm good. I think I'm good.
That
I think hearing it out loud and someone else speaking it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think we're on a good path. I don't really have anything. I'm good.
This is a good start, you guys.
and I have a question. So when the grandmother talks and there's that dialogue, that's the opportunity for you as a writer to develop the character, right? And
That's actually an opportunity for a scene.
scene, right?
So let grandma speak in her own voice. That's a good thought. And write a scene. And then go back to the narrator.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Say that one more time.
You can create a scene. So you can let grandma pop out in dialogue and go, "This is not a duck." And then little her going, "It is a duck. No, they are chicken feet." So that becomes a little scene of dialogue.
Okay.
Right? When people are speaking. But let's not worry about that yet. Go in and clean it up, Sula, and shorten it and tighten it, and then let's look at what we have. Step by baby step. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Otherwise, you will get distracted and go down one path for a long time and then not know what you're doing.
Okay. All right.
Generate content so that you can allow the full story to show up. You guys can see my page?
No,
Not
not yet.
yet. Not yet.
Well, that doesn't help anyone, does it? No, help anybody.
I'm so sorry. I don't want to disrespect anyone, and I know it's not loving myself, but I'm gonna light a cigarette. Okay, sorry guys. Is that okay with you guys? I smoked last time, and then I kind of felt bad about it, and then yeah. Okay, just let you. I don't
No
want you to
judgment, girl.
Right.
feel weird or anything. Okay, I just try to be polite, but I would have smoked it anyway. I'm just telling you.
Speaking of
I'm joking. I'm joking.
my vape right now, Brittany, I thought of you the other day
Yeah.
because I bought a new vape pen.
Uh-huh.
I was like, I'm upgrading to, the more advanced vape pen. I am grown now. I'm a vapor. It's like, and it costs more than $100.
Ooh.
So now I've arrived. So as I was taking out of the packaging, I put the little cylinder in there, you fill it up with juice or whatever. And I'm trying to smoke the bitch. And I'm like, I'm pulling so hard. Why is there no smoke? For like a week. I said, let me get the box and read the directions. And I was like, because I need to get high. I can't taste my strawberry. So I go and read the directions. I had the wrong cylinder in there. You know what cylinder I had? The one for dry herbs.
Oh.
And I was like, why would somebody smoke herb? Why would somebody put like herbal? And the direction was like, there's a light on the side and an adjustable. It's like, there's no light. There's nothing that screws. There's no adjustable. This is the pothead one. Oh my God. That's why I'm not getting my juice. fuck this bitch. And then I take it off. But now I have put e-juice in the pot one. So I'm like, damn, I'm gonna wash that out.
Sounds
I never
suspicious.
smoke weed or herb or anything, so I don't need to. I go downstairs to feed the stray cat, and my neighbor's like, look at this. It's weed. And I was like, what is that? It's really stinky. And they all look at me, they're like, she's such a white girl. Come on now. I was like, if I was a white girl, I would know what weed was in Brooklyn. Like, oh, that's true. I was like, what is that?
So it's about like 8 grams.
Yeah, you put the thing in there. I was like, no, I have e-juice in mine. I don't do that. They're like, we can boil it and make cannabis out juice. I was like, stop. So I go and I switch it out. And I was like, that's better. E-juice. And I go. And I was like, this is amazing. So my weed one, because that's what makes it so advanced. You don't have to pull very hard. You have removable cartridges. They even have a takeaway cartridge, which is one you just put in there and you throw away while you're on the road and then you toss it. I was like, well, that's you don't have to open anything. I was like, I'm moving up in the world. And then I realized, oh, well, Brittany's like, she could pay $300 for it. I was like, I'm not that grown. And I told my neighbor,
The Rolls Royce of e-cigarettes.
who supplies, you know, he's a supplier of candy. And I told him, I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, she don't need that for to get a good pull. She should have talked to me. I could have got her one down on Utica. I was like, oh my God. He was like, he goes in his pocket, he pulls out 3 of them. He's like, this one is really great if you on a budget. Now, if you got this motherfucker right here, oh, do some. I was like, okay. He's like, you could have a gummy and then smoke this with the strawberry. No, yo, listen. I was like, oh my God. I got an entire tutorial.
One second.
He's like, you know what? I'm agreeing you. I was like, well, how much is a one gummy? And he was like, and everybody here is like on the stoop. She's like, she's so cute. But I just want one because I can't do more than one. And so, why don't you smoke it? I said, oh, I can't smoke marijuana. And they were like, it'll make me congested and give me a cold. And they were like, and then he goes in his pocket again. He's like, not if you use this one. Now this one right here got a filter. And I was just like, oh my God, did you just pull out 3 different vaporizer and 2 different kinds of vapor pens and then give me different techniques? And he's like, you got the wrong one in there. I mean, he's got these expensive European ones. He's like, you got the wrong, he hood now. You got the wrong one in there. So you gotta take this and swirl it around and you go wash it out. Don't throw that away. Keep your atomizer and then you soak it in some vinegar. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Coca-Cola do it too. Soak it in vinegar. You can use that atomizer again. I was like, this is all very fascinating. I'm gonna go. And then the hipster comes out of his building. It's like, it's totally true, dude. I was like, I love my neighborhood. And I thought of you. I was like, advanced vaping. But yes, I want you to know for a whole week, I was smoking the weed canister and couldn't figure out why I could not get my weed on. I was like, why am I not tasting my strawberry juice? I love it. It keeps me from eating sweets. I was like, I need it. Otherwise, I'm going to eat chocolate cake. I need it. And I'm like, nothing.
I just want to say one other thing. I see Gilda Radner, Richard Pryor, oh my God, John Leguizamo, and oh my God, my all-time hero, and I can't remember his name right this second. This is embarrassing. George Carlin. That's who I see reading my stuff.
Oh,
So,
yeah, I can see that. George,
So just wanted to throw that in. We're done. Those are my 4.
George Carlin's special. Okay.
I could never be that smart, but I wish.
I'm genius. Okay.
All right.
John Leguizamo is a little manic, but okay.
I know you don't like him. I know you don't like him. You think he trashed his family and stuff. I kind of like him.
I've seen them.
All my clients love John Leguizamo. I was like, but you know, a lot of my clients do spoken word too, and I hate spoken word.
His family was mad at him. I read all his books too, and they were real mad at him. And Dad tried to sue him and all kinds of stuff. See, my players are dead, so nobody's suing me. But no, I understand what you were saying about that. I'm so sorry. Let's get back.
I like Elijah's son.
I like Nalasha too. Write a good story. I'm actually interested in you becoming a great writer. Because
Exactly.
if he had become a great writer, his family wouldn't be suing him.
Who?
John
Oh,
Leguizamo.
John Leguizamo, yeah.
He just straight, there's no story structure. He just straight stood up there and talked shit about his
Yeah.
family. I'm sure some of it was even ad-libbed. That's a way to do it, you know. And when you're a comedian, it blows up your career. But I'm really interested in people who want to become great writers, not just stand-up.
I just finished reading The Last Black Unicorn too.
Mhm.
Oh my
Tiffany
God,
Haddish.
Hadish. What's her name? Oh my God.
Tiffany Haddish.
Tiffany Haddish.
Tiffany Haddish.
Yes. The
Haddish.
Last Black Unicorn. She's
Mhm.
not a writer by any means, and hers is very the way like she talks. That was fun. That's a really fun book. You should read it. Last Black Unicorn.
I'm reading Issa Rae's, and hers is pretty good. Like, I like hers. Like,
I'm gonna
she,
write that
because it's
down.
written in the way that she speaks, but she's a writer, so she goes into it, and it's a great book. Like, I've gotten through it, like, really fast. I didn't finish it. I have maybe, like, 5 chapters.
What's the title?
It's, Misadventures. I think it's, like, Misadventures of a Black Girl. Hold on, let me
I'll
pull it
look
up.
at Misadventures of Awkward Black Girls, the name of
Yes.
the series? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same title as her series.
Yes. Of Awkward. Yeah, I always look for writers, you know, like actors who release books because they got a big movie. It's written by somebody else, just interviewing them and
Well,
recording
she's a writer, so it's like
what we're doing. I'm talking about like Tiffany Haddish's. I was like,
Oh,
no, they're
You know
there
what she did? And she
they're
even
there
said
to
it
make
at the end.
money.
What she did, and she said it at the end, she did Book in a Box. If you have not seen Book in a Box, you need to go to their website for $10,000, because I love her because she's all about Groupon. So for $10,000, it's Book in a Box is they have these editors and you submit, and they don't take just anybody. And I'm sure they took her also because she had a name, but she also has a very interesting story. And they edit and publish your book, and it's called Book in a Box. And it's pretty interesting. And if you have the money and, you know, and that's just something you want to do, but just because she comes from Groupon kind of thing, it's interesting that she did Book in a Box.
Well, she knew she was going to make money. That's what that's for.
Oh, no, absolutely. And good for her. And I think
in the old days, so for example, if you get a movie deal, there used to be developmental deals where you'd be like, okay, I'm going to have a 5-picture deal. That's what Anthony Mackie had when he came out of Juilliard. Spike was like, I'm putting you in 5 movies. Whether or not they get made, you have this developmental deal, and you're getting paid a straight salary every year, and you are obligated to that time, period. So you're set. They don't do developmental deals anymore now because the money is in television and not so much. But what they do is they package you and go, okay, box office on this is going to be great because of the other names, and you're really funny. So we're going to package a book, a movie, and a play all together. So let's just get it done. That was done before the movie came out. She was packaged. And big agencies do that. They take a writer, and they take from their cadre, they take a director from their client list, and they package them, and they prep it all together.
For sure. But I think coming from her story, Book in a Box was a very, she selected that. I couldn't see anybody in Hollywood selecting Book in a Box. She did that herself, and that's what's just admirable about. Like,
Who else is on Book in a Box? Who else is happening?
There's a few people. It's like this up and coming like starter company. Just
You're excited for packaging.
And Emil is dying. Emil's like, let's read my shit.
No. I'm interested in Book in the Box. I know that. I mean,
What I'm just saying,
Okay.
what I'm saying is that the agency probably packaged that.
I'm sure she wasn't alone in the endeavor.
So
Yeah.
the thing is that if you were going to write a solo show, I would write the screenplay, the solo show ahead of time, and have the solo show and have some classes attached and package all of that together.
and don't forget the novel.
When people come and see you, they're going to want to buy something, right? So you can do that as an independent artist. Book in a Box is a lot cheaper than what packaging used to be. Packaging used to be, let's hire a guest writer who's already famous, a ghostwriter, basically.
Sure.
And now they're like, but that's expensive. Why do we need to hire a ghostwriter for $150,000 when we have Book in a Box for $10,000? And if we contract with Book in a Box to only take people who are represented by these agencies, we get a percentage. They get a percentage.
Sure.
All packaging. And it ends up being cheaper for the agency. Everybody makes more money. You can release directly to Amazon. Like, this is all good. It's the common man thing. And the good thing about this is that it can help you as an independent producer, writer, all that shit. I got all these offers when I did a solo show. You do this, you do that. And I was like, not so interested in a novel. Not
You know
really.
what I wanted to ask you too, because I'm in Greece as well, and I haven't been back in about 2 years. Is there anything of yours that I can see fully online? Is there something that even like it's anything, nothing?
You've seen my TED Talk, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I've seen little excerpts.
So the union does not allow you to photograph theater. Because what happens when you photograph theater, one, if it's not filmed well, it can hurt you selling your solo show. Never, ever, ever, ever film your entire solo show. There's a reason the union has that rule. 15 minutes of B-roll. That's it with theater. 15 minutes of B-roll. Excerpts, cuts. That's it with theater. That's all you're ever going to see of theater performances. Because what happened when the internet first came out is that, oh, okay, what's his name? Jimmy Smits got famous all of a sudden. Great, he's on a TV show. Well, a bunch of people from his high school released clips from his high school play, and they made money on it from YouTube. They taped the whole thing, and they made a shit ton of money, and it had to be shut down. But they made a shit ton of money on that, and it was like School of the Arts or something, and it was illegal because people make money off of you. So, as if you can only ever see B-roll of me on stage. If you want to see a full performance, you go get one of my movies or my TV shows. All of which are on. You go to my website and you can see, my reel and a list of shows that I've been on, and you can watch those. So
I just wanted to see if there was any way, like even personally, getting without showing to anybody, just seeing an entire show, just because I wasn't able to get to an actual performance.
Oh. So. Of my work or anybody's work?
No, of your work. It's okay. It's all right. I just want to say.
You can read it if you want to.
You had me sold on just you, so.
I would suggest not watching other solo performers now that you are here. Now that you're working on your own.
No, for sure. Influence you don't want to see.
Now you can read. What I think is important is to read solo shows so you can look at structure. Syringa Tree, No Child. This list is on the page. Structurally, they are done really well. If you want to read my play, you just let me know and I'll send you a PDF. The structure is everything, the book ending. But here's the thing, you're going to find that. It's the content that guides that. It really is. You just do all the monologues. Some are scenes already. Put them on the floor and do a storyboard. It will tell you what it needs. Trust it. Every story has a different rhythm, which is what makes it interesting. So let it go. Trust it, trust it, trust it, trust it. That's it.
All right.
And then read well-written ones. Whoopi Goldberg's is available on Amazon. I meant to order it.
Yeah, I've watched Whoopi's stuff. I watched it when it first came out. Also,
First one is structurally
you guys can get it, but I can get her first HBO performance show here on YouTube. I don't know if you guys can get it because of copyright and so forth.
Is that the very first show with the little girl with the shirt on her head?
Would it?
Yeah, we can't get it.
Wouldn't it be on HBO now? Because HBO, like a lot of their things,
No, it's not. You can buy something strange with the copyright. That show is just clusterfucked. The rest of them are not. She made sure she had copyright, and they're all videotaped by HBO. The first one,
again, and I'll send it. And if you guys can open it,
no, I've done it already. If you go to Amazon, you can order the VCR, whatever.
VHS.
I still have one in New York City.
VHS?
And then you can take it to Sunshine Videos and have them put it on a DVD. It's worth having.
Oh no, it's great.
I think that the HBO 20-year release anniversary though is on DVD and it is on Amazon used or eBay. So there's that. So there it is. It's structurally, it's a much simpler way. If I did another solo show, which I'm not, I would use that structure. 5 separate monologues, each a complete story.